I'm back in black. Literally.
That's not black. Your eyes, you need glasses.
I do have some. But
I've been friends with you a long time, and I just realized the other night that you wear glasses.
Yeah, folks, for all of you who've been through the same thing, last fall, watching TV, I just kept looking at Lucy going, TV just doesn't look that good. Like,
I know I'm crazy.
I know I bought a good TV. Like, I mean, the thing is 65 inches too. It's like, what is wrong? Like, is it our internet? Is it just not coming through? Yeah. Different conversation. But I mean, folks, I'm just like, it just doesn't look that good. What is wrong? And then we'd be watching a movie and they'd show like someone's phone on the movie and I have to pause it and get in front of the TV and look at it, Like, why is it not clear?
You sound like a joy to watch a movie with.
I do really enjoy good films, but anyways, it dawned on me one day. It hit me like a slap in the face. I'm like, oh, it's me. Crap. And I brought my glasses home from work because I only wear them to look at the computer. Well, I have an astigmatism. It's the slanted one or whatever, the oblique one. I can read fine. I don't really have to wear them to see anything. It's just when I put them on, everything's in 4K Ultra HD and it looks awesome. So to look at, especially sports, like a scoreboard, something like that, it really does make a difference, Sauce. I can't deny it.
And depending on the Auburn game, take them off.
Sometimes you take them off.
Sometimes you want them on. Sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
It's true.
Yeah, I have pretty good vision now, but both my parents, their vision just at some point just started going. And I know it happens to pretty much everybody, so I'm anticipating one day.
Yep.
Hopefully being like my dad, like the cute old man with glasses. Or like you. You look pretty good with glasses. Not in a weird way, but
thanks, bro.
He
supports me.
I do.
Yep. You'll be the coach on the sidelines. Glasses, off, on, looking at the plays, looking at the players.
I'll be like Sugar Shane with the magnetic ones.
Oh, Lord. Dude. Yes, indeed.
If you've never listened to Shane Blanchard's episode, go back and check it out. Oh, I just crack up every time that sweet Cajun man undoes the magnet in his glasses and lowers them and magnetizes them back together. I'm just like, you're the cutest, toughest, all-in-one bundle that I've ever seen in my life.
That's good stuff.
He's probably going to listen to this and be like, I want to punch you right in the nose.
Yep.
But
everybody knows there's a man in their life who has magnetic glasses, and they're just
the saddest part
clapping on, clapping off, clapping on, clapping off.
My dad saw him and he was like, oh, I really like him. I was like, here we go. Shane's going to start a trend. Our whole community is going to have magnet glasses. It's great. But I needed some magnet glasses to watch how poorly my play calling was going the other night at our game, but that's okay. We lost. I'm not proud of it.
Well, it's all right. They're in 9th grade.
Well, the funniest thing is, and I have to remind myself of this constantly, and I'm kind of proud of myself because I'm doing way better than I have in years past. It's very easy as a coach, as I'm sure it is like any profession, but as a coach, when you're dealing with those children, 15-year-old boys,
sure,
just imagine yourself at 15, right? I know that I did not say or do or behave the way I was supposed to, and I did not do all the right things. And I had a touch of attitude here and there with adults and things like that. So I keep all of that in mind as much as possible when they do the most asinine things that you could possibly imagine. So, quick story. We lose. We shouldn't have lost. We were better than the other team. We give the whole speech, the I'm not going to tell you I'm disappointed, but we're disappointed speech. And we eat a quick meal, get on the bus because it takes 3 hours to get home from there. We walk by one of the buses on our way to ours, and there's a player making gestures that are not very serious, as we've already told them to sit, be quiet, and think about things on the way home. So they were acting a fool like immediately. So they did a whole mess of up downs and got all sweaty again before we got on the road home
Nice.
from that location. So, but I often think, how can I learn, or how can I see Christ in those players and quite a few different people, which kind of leads us right into what we're gonna sort of just riff about tonight, is trying to see Christ, trying to see where Christ is speaking to you through other people, what he's saying, what he's kind of asking you to work on, things like that. So, yeah.
Coming at you from the garage, folks.
Yeah.
2 dudes in the garage.
Once again, repping some pretty sweet Totally Catholic tees. I got my God is Love shirt on. St. Benedict. If you didn't think this would be Alex's first choice after last week, then you were mistaken.
My 2-year-old pointed at it and said, St. Benedict. I was like, man, you're the man, dude.
I'm really impressed.
I was very impressed.
And you said he called you out the first time you wore your St. Michael shirt too.
Sure did.
Kid knows his saints.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Give a round of applause for Alex and Lucy's parenting right there.
Yeah.
Those kiddos know their saints and like can't wait to shout them out. That's pretty great. So buy some Totally Catholic tees and you'll be able to teach your kid about some more saints.
Absolutely. They just absorb so much. It's incredible, man. It really is, So we're not doing anything special, just exposure. They're like little sponges, as they say. It's awesome.
Pretty easy to see Christ in your children, I imagine. That might be a safe place for us to start, right?
When we do that, I want to know how you see Christ in 9th graders. I'm fascinated.
Oh, we'll start there.
Yes.
You're gonna hit me with the whammy.
We're skirting right there. Come on.
I was expecting a fastball. Now I'm hitting a knuckler. Okay. 9th graders are fantastic specimens. They're fun. So I have often spoken about, the blessing that is my career of, I taught K through 2 for 7 years. Now I'm currently teaching grades 3 through 5. And I've coached 9th grade sports, still coach 9th grade football. And I am blessed to be on the varsity staff for basketball. So I literally have had almost every age group that you can get, except for, I think, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay.
Those are the only 3 grades that I haven't had some sort of interaction with. 9th graders in particular are, they're special. They're unique. Like we probably were.
Of course. Right?
And they just think everything's so funny. Like, I would say if there's one thing, so like seeing God in them, you had to do this to me right off the bat. If I could see Christ in my 9th graders, I would probably see that levity, that carefree seems like the wrong way to say it when you're talking about seeing our Lord and Savior.
Sure.
But in a sense, that carefree, everything's okay, enjoy life attitude, I think. Like,
you're not worried about tomorrow, maybe?
As a coach, right? Like after that game, I'm 33. I'm thinking back as, what was I like as an athlete? What am I like now? I'm a competitor. I like to win. If I had just lost that game knowing I should have won it, it would have eaten me up. Like I would be the guy on the bus on the way home, silent and angry and going through every play that just happened. But they're not. Like, it's a different generation. They're not the same as, here I am, old man Ryan, but like they're not what we grew up with. And so they just cut up. Like as soon as the game was over and they got done with their scolding from our head coach, they're up there in the bleachers eating a sandwich, just like running around, throwing stuff at each other, just carefree, having fun, smiling. So I see Christ in that aspect. I think what Christ tries to teach me the most through them is Certainly, as you might imagine, most age groups, patience for sure,
Mhm.
but trying to meet people where they are and trying to reach them on a more relatable level because I have to reflect on what I would have done. Like in years past, I was not the coach that was like, okay, to my coaching staff when we're talking about certain things, I would have never uttered the words like, okay, guys, but they're 15 years old. Like, let's cut them some slack. But now that's kind of where my journey in faith has kind of taken me. Of like, they're kids, it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish I had more. I probably should have prepared for that question, but
Yeah.
busy day, man. Busy day.
Exactly.
Let me think. Challenging ones for okay.
Oh, okay. Come on.
Okay. Alex, where do you see Christ in your most challenging patience?
Sure. I knew this was coming, thankfully.
He's probably more prepared than I am for it. So
This is probably the only one that I have some kind of preparation for, but you know me. I can go on the fly. Let's hit it. Okay. I do feel like it is a privilege of mine to be able to meet and talk to so many different people every day and on a regular basis. I do really enjoy that about my job. You certainly got that whether you're a nurse at the bedside or you're taking care of patients outpatient in a clinic setting. Um, One thing my wife and I, because my wife is a nurse practitioner as well, for those who don't know, we talk about all the time is like, it does not matter if you're Mr. or Mrs. So and so, hoity toity, or if you are, you know, janitor at wherever, like you're going to be treated the same, So that is, I think, a great exercise for me that I get regularly, which is that you walk into a room and you look at someone and you think you're a child of God. God created you in his image and likeness. That needs to be a thought in my head pretty early on. So that's a great exercise. Just seeing Christ in my patients and that this is a child of God whom Christ loves, whom he died for, and, wants to love him too and redeem. So that in turn makes me think a lot about, okay, when I come into this room, number one, I need to be like jovial, happy, at least not miserable. You know what I mean?
how many cups of coffee have you had? That's the question.
And the answer, folks, is 0. But
you're not a coffee guy.
I have coffee for strictly for pleasure. Like on a Saturday or a Sunday, I might have one at like a St. Michael's meeting or maybe with my wife on a Sunday. But during the week, 0, always.
I'm a really
never.
good friend. Very good friend. Just found that out. Continue. I'm sorry.
Anyways, doesn't matter. But it's funny you mentioned that because I have had patients be like, how many cups of coffee have you had today? I'm like, none. And they're like, oh, yeah, which is always really funny.
Alex, that's a gift. That's a gift.
It actually completely came from my father. My father was like, you drink any coffee yet? I'm like, no, Dad. He's like, you will. And I was just like, well, I'm not gonna. It was kind of like a challenge in a way.
Stubborn.
Or but also I never wanted to be dependent on it. That was the big thing. Like you just see people who like get the headaches or like the crash, and I was like, I'm just not going to be dependent on it. So I just never started drinking it. But I do like a cup of coffee. I think it's delicious, and especially when you have like a actual good quality coffee, But I just have, I have 1 or 2 cups every couple weeks, something like that. That's kind of where I am now. I drink more coffee now than I ever have, but it's strictly, like I said, like you have a beer to enjoy it. You have a cup of coffee to enjoy it. It's kind of my philosophy there.
I'm proud of you.
Anyways, there are certainly patients, like there are in any facet of life, who challenge you. And that can be for a multitude of different reasons. So patients help me see Christ in them, but they also help me see Christ around me. We talked last episode and have in the past multiple times about just calling on Christ throughout the day, throughout this trial, throughout this blessing, throughout this challenge or this cross. Sometimes there are patients who, before I knock on that door and go in, I just say, Lord, let me see this patient through your eyes. And then I go in and get it going, you know? Um, there are some patients though, Ryan, and I have to say this too. Lately, like in the past just maybe 3 or 4 months, patient family members too, because the family members can be tough as well. um, yes, as you know about, maybe a parent could be tough as well
I
too,
don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
That's never happened.
deal. There are patients and patient family members, and I've come across actually a really inspiring amount of both lately who really just love our Lord. Now thankfully, like we're in Alabama, like you meet someone, you kind of expect them to be Christian most of the time, or at least have that kind of like worldview upbringing. Essentially, there's certainly varying levels of seriousness about the faith, but that worldview and that morality is prevalent. And sometimes you just talk to people, and first of all, you see what they're going through, and you think, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. But they're okay. They're They are leaning on the Lord. They are completely trusting in Him. Their faith, is seeing them through these incredible times. And I just see Christ in them. I see His like apostles in them, like feeling, overjoyed to like get persecuted for our Lord. Obviously, my patients aren't being persecuted, but they're going through these intense trials
Mhm.
sometimes of cancer treatments or chronic pain, or, they've had a terrible stroke. I mean, just really, really inspiring. Or especially too, and I'm sure plenty of people out here know what I'm talking about when I say this, caregivers for spouses, especially, or for like children for their parents. Being a caregiver is the hardest job in the world, without a doubt. Now, you and I are caregivers for small children. It's very difficult. I think that does count. It's in that realm for sure, the stage of life we're in. But to be a caregiver for someone who's had a massive stroke, can't do anything for themselves, or someone with, most of the often it's dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that, to see what these spouses and what these children of these patients do for their family members is honorable, inspiring. I have absolutely been moved to tears with patients and family members before. Mm, beautiful hugs and embraces and words of encouragement to me as well, even when they're going through these things. But living out their vows, especially, as a husband, just seeing that, this love. I ask patients a lot, like, how long have I been married? And they tell me, 57 years, 63 years. And you're just like, I mean, there are a lot of kind of cookie cutter lines you just have and you go to and you say, but I mean them, I'm like, man, I wish I have that someday. I'm working on that,
Oh,
and,
you will.
and I will, God willing. But, my wife and I have 7 years, which is awesome. It's hard to believe how quickly that went by, but, life moves fast, and it's really inspiring to see Christ in my patients and family members. Um, I certainly I try to find every day at least, one, two, three patients who I've seen that day who are going through something maybe a little extra hard, or maybe it's just a little thing going on in their family or something, and then pray for those patients that day, and mean that, because, you know, I can't remember every patient and every intention, every prayer. I'm just not that good. I'm not our
Mhm.
Lord, but I at least try to really take some meaningful prayer for those people, and offer that up every single day. And I've had a lot of really, I've been blessed to have a lot of really positive interactions, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of have a story and a question to follow that up. So, like, personally, I kind of find it more challenging to have that mindset of like, let me see this person through your eyes. I find it more challenging to recognize Christ within other people around me or situations around me when I haven't been to confession in a long time.
Mhm.
And that's been more prevalent and so evident. It's not like I've flipped my lid. I haven't gone off the handle and, just absolutely lost my marbles, but I texted my wife earlier. I think it was earlier today, and I was just like, I have no patience right now. And like I said, guys, I'm not losing it. I'm not screaming at children at work, but I can just feel it, like inside. I'm just like the small stuff that I could just shake. Generally, is a little more lingering than it should be.
Gotcha.
So I texted my my wife about it this morning, and she's like, "Okay, it's in the Google Calendar. You're going to confession on Friday." She's like, "I'll handle it. We're gonna make it work." Side note, y'all pray for my sweet, sweet puppy dog. He's got to get his eye removed. That'll be in 2 days. So Friday will be his come home day from that procedure and be taking care of him. But I'm gonna get into a confessional before I come home and do that after work. But yeah, do you, since we've sort of been in this same run of like, yeah, we need to get our butts back in a confessional,
Mhm.
do you feel some of that, or am I kind of just riding solo on that one? Because I'm wearing thin right now, and I need to get back in good graces.
Yeah, I feel you. I I am feeling it more in the sense of, like, the pressure's there, that kind of sense of impending, like, "I need to get this done." That I don't like the way that sounds, though, I'm not gonna lie, but I love going to confession. I do. It's wonderful. The fact that I haven't been in almost a year has nothing to do with me not liking it. To be honest, it, obviously life is busy. That is not an excuse. I'm not giving that as an excuse at all. It is not an excuse. I want everyone to know that. There is a level of um, the opportunities for confession are with our schedule in life. They're inconvenient. I mean, I'll be honest with that. They are.
That
That's also not an excuse.
Yeah, I don't even get
Um,
out of practice until like almost
yeah,
7,
exactly.
so
Yeah,
I missed the whole thing.
yeah. We're in the midst of. I mean, dinner, bath, bedtime at that time. It's just during the week, so really my only opportunity is the like Saturday morning. Like that's when I can go. And um there is that just level of guilt of like leaving my wife with 3 young children and doing that. And it's not an incredibly long amount of time, but I do just feel guilty. I
If you're
can't deny it. Yeah.
5 minutes late, it's an incredibly long amount of time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Those
I hear
pews
you.
fill up fast, man. And with
Exactly.
3 kids at home, I can imagine that's even more challenging.
Sure. And none of that's an excuse, needs to happen and it will. But to really answer your question though, I I do not feel that not having gone to confession is directly affecting the way I see people. I do think I've been blessed in the fact that I am just kind of more of I'm a positive person, I'm a happy person. I think you know what I mean when I say that. Um and I want to see the good. I think I've always been someone who's, very affected by like meanness or something like that. So that's the last thing I want to, put out in the world or spread. But also, if I am going to mass every week, which I am, and then more importantly, if I'm praying regularly, I'm good. For me, it's more about prayer. If my prayer life is solid, and that's not, I don't hit my goal every single day for sure, but if I am praying routinely, I'm much better at seeing it for sure. Definitely.
That was my follow-up question, was how the prayer life is. Because I feel you, like, I do. Maybe it's just an educator thing, like, maybe it's just been 2 months since school started and that, like, early year excitement, or maybe it's just because Alex is a naturally jovial, excited, and eccentric person, and I'm more of a curmudgeon. Did I use that word? I'm trying to throw SAT words out here at y'all to make myself sound as smart as Alex here, but no, I'm more of a cranky one. And it's been established that if I get cranky, something something big has to happen to get me out of it. Otherwise, I'm not so bad about it anymore. But yeah, I just thought I would ask because I found myself the last couple days of like small things just kind of lingering around and just being like, man, I need to clean the slate. I need to get back. It's in my head now, but
I hear you, brother. It's just always a good thing. Absolutely. It's yeah, it's needed.
what about? Okay, I'm gonna ask you this because I need some time to think about it too.
All right, come on.
Who do you see? Who's the least likely person that you see Christ in, but it happens and you can't deny it? So clear to you, but you leave that situation and you're like, no idea why.
Okay.
Y'all can tell how much pre-episode preparation we did.
This is probably actually our first episode where we're completely on the fly, I would say. Don't you worry, folks. We gonna keep spitting. Anyways, Ryan can edit that out. So good.
Oh, it's staying in there.
Excellent. I was hoping you'd leave it.
What did you say in like episode 3 that we literally had to ask Lucy's permission to keep it?
Oh, was that the thing about breastfeeding?
I don't know what it is. We need to do a blooper reel for our podcast. I'm sorry. Least likely identification of Christ in another. Here we go.
All right. Well, y'all, I've certainly already spoken about my patients and family members. It's actually it's kind of the same answer. I'll be honest, because there are people whom I talk to and come across, and in the words of Buddy, they're angry elves. You know what I mean?
Must be from the South Pole.
Must be a South Pole elf. Yeah, there are people who come in and they're angry and they want to be pissed, and they're also angry about what's happened to them or their family member, and they're looking for someone to blame. And I know I'm much, much better now at, all right, you're not angry at me. Because first of all, I'm like, I had nothing to do with any of this that just happened. So if you're a rational person at all, you just know it's not my fault at all. And I've never been in a conversation where I was like worried about my safety or truly uncomfortable. I've certainly been like, okay, it's a little hostile in here, right now. Or I have certainly had to kind of, speak very honestly with a patient or a family member about, hey, we need to tone this down, or we can't talk like this, and it's all good. But you meet people who are clearly, they're not Christians. They don't believe in God. They are not on any kind of particular path of morality. They're very angry. They're depressed. They, they rely or just want their medications, to like fix everything. I do meet people in some very, very difficult situations. And I do think that I could easily just be like, wow, they suck. Bye. Good riddance. Hope I don't see him again. Could put that block on my schedule saying, do not schedule with Alex. I've never done that before, actually. I've never met a person where I said that, like, in the medical profession, you could do that. You could say, I'm not going to see this person ever again. But I personally have never done that. There's just, I don't see, obviously, if you try to take a swing at me, okay, I'll do that. Sure, definitely. Yeah, that's never happened. I've been hit in the hospital, but that was like people who are like off their rocker. You know what I mean? I've been jacked a couple times, but nothing, crazy. My nurses out there,
I'm
salute you.
you.
Nice.
Next time I'm in there, I'm going to swing at you.
Swing, yep.
You're not going to see it coming. I'm going to get you.
I'm going to duck, dive, dip, dodge.
I've duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
I know.
Would be very disappointed in you.
He would be. He'd throw a wrench right at me. But like I was saying, Ryan.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Love you. When I exit those interactions, honestly, most of the time what I feel is like, now listen, folks, this is not like actual theology. I am not trying to explain the catechism or or any kind of like written theology or church teaching here. This is just what goes on in Alex's funny little brain. But I think in my head, wow, like that is a child of God whom Christ made in his image and whom God loves, whom Christ loves. And I feel like Christ is in there in some tiny little part of them where, he dwells no matter what, no matter how much you reject him or how much you want to despise him or cast him away. I mean, he's there. He made you. He is a part of you in some way. And I know that. I just feel like he's in there and he just wants to come out. He wants to consume that person and make sure that person knows how much he loves them. And you feel that love in you burning for that person in this way. And I do my best to at least make sure that person had a good experience encounter with me. I've even had people as so far as like, man, I want to go knock on that person's front door or go, I want to call that person after hours. Now, I've never done that. Like, I have to, there's privacies and HIPAAs and things I have to respect no matter what, but you feel this pull, this call towards certain people because people certainly, they look lost, but you think about, the parable of the shepherd going after the one sheep, to call them back. And you see Christ in these people, even when they seem so lost, because they are his children too. And you can't help but see that. Um, and, you feel the pull to judge people, but I also have to remember, it's the classic line of, he who's without sin cast the first stone. So I always know that and know how much I suck sometimes too, for sure. And, I make sure I don't do that. I can push those thoughts down pretty quickly. But I do find Christ in those tough interactions too, because he loves that person exactly as much as he loves me. So that's what I would say there. Any thoughts on that?
So I commend you for that. I find it immensely difficult to recognize Christ in an individual who's given you the business, giving you such a hard time. Those individuals that you have to, if you have to tell yourself and remind yourself Christ is in there, that's where I struggle, I think.
Sure.
Because my first instinct isn't to recognize Christ within them. It's more so like, I'm going to say a prayer for them.
Well, that's great.
Which I think that's a start.
Well, some people too, you think all those thoughts I just mentioned maybe an hour or two later after it's done.
Fair.
Sometimes you just have to get through the interaction, but then you reflect on it and you're not filled with hate. It might be forgiveness or love or sympathy, So yeah, you have to get through the interaction first.
I think I lean more towards the prayer, and I don't always reflect on each individual. And this isn't like a challenging person per se. This could be in any number of circumstances, but I don't always reflect and think that's a child of God. That's a child of God. I do often, but it's not an every time thing. And probably not for anyone really, but the prayer for someone is still not something I hit every time. Like if you really send me for a whirl, like a lot of times I'll leave that, and selfishly I'm more reflective on how I handled it. Like, did I at least show patience? Did I at least show some compassion?
Mm-hmm.
Was I trying to be understanding? But it's not so much reflective on the other person. Now, what I do try, especially in my line of work, is like, okay, they're clearly having a problem, an issue, a bad day, whatever. Maybe it's a bad week. I try my best to be very intentional when I consider circumstances I can't see. So, home life, essential needs. Are they hungry? Did they eat breakfast this morning? Things of that nature. So, no, I think we're on a little bit different pages there. I do love the aspect of like when you approach a room, you can just focus, quick prayer, go in. That's really awesome. I need to start doing that whenever I get another group of students to come in.
Well, I have quite a bit of practice with it too, is what I'll say. Like I do it all day, every single day, 4.5 years, and then even in the hospital too, pre NP life. And I do fail. I mean, I'm not perfect at it, for sure. Things jump out of nowhere, and you're like, like. But I am better at reacting at that than I was 2, 3 years ago. Um, yeah, man. No magic formula for sure. Just I don't know, some mental gymnastics, prayer life training,
Prayer gymnastics.
prayer gymnastics. Yeah, exactly. Prayer gymnastics for sure. But, also too, the good helps balance out the bad and, vice versa. Certainly like you can have a tough day, but then you have this one person who just like lifts you up so much and you see Christ so much in them and that just carries you a week or two, which is so cool. Really, really so cool. And sometimes it's in the least expected place for sure.
You know what also carries me a week or two?
Hmm.
A 3-day weekend,
Ooh,
4-day weekend.
those are awesome.
Yeah, I'm in the need for another one. Kind of itching for one. Tess was like, she's like, hey, are you going to take the day when when my dog, his name's River, are you going to take the day off when he gets his surgery and comes home? And I was like, I didn't really plan on it, but that 3-day weekend does sound really good. I can't do it. I get really guilty about taking days off. I don't know why. Probably shouldn't. They're my days,
Yeah, they're your days, bro.
but I
For
do. I
real.
kind of feel bad about it. I So here's my thing. I want to ask about like seeing Christ in your wife and in your kids, but I I can't help but feel that that's just such the easy way for this episode. Like
Sure, totally.
you could kind of hit any way, shape, or form that you could imagine seeing Christ through your wife and kids, and it would hold true. So maybe we don't go there. Is that a little bit too cliche or a little bit too expected for this episode?
I think we can get there eventually, but we got more ground to cover. So we'll
All
keep at
right.
it. All right. You have something on the top of your head right now, or is it my turn?
I think it's your turn.
That's what I thought. Excellent. All right. Tell me how you see Christ in me and our friends.
You just made it weird.
Exactly.
Made it
It's
weird.
not me, it's the other guys. Definitely not me. But no, for real. How do you see Christ in our friend group and our friends' spouses too, the whole deal?
I sort of see it in a like there are definitely virtues and characteristics that come out that I could pinpoint in each one of my friends that reflect Christ. I see our friend group very similarly to the interactions of the 12 apostles in The Chosen.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I got you.
The way that they joke on each other and argue and fight, and one is mean to this one, and then this one picks that guy up and builds him back up, and then you realize that you're friends with this one and you're tight with that one, and it's just a never ending like development of relationship, deepening of relationship. Very, very lucky and I can't say that. Very, very blessed by our Lord to have that in the men around us, the fathers around us, and the husbands around us. Um, because it keeps things interesting for sure.
Sure.
Keeps things fun. It's always fun to get together with those guys, but it holds you accountable too. Where like if I know I've stepped out of line or I've done something silly, like I have good, like-minded friends to hold me accountable, but like in the same sense, role models, which sounds odd to say when they're your age. Some of them are younger, some of them are older. But I have role models around me who stumble like every human does, but try to put their best foot forward to be that vocational husband, father, spiritual leader of their family. So I think I see Christ in that friendship role with the disciples, with his apostles. That's kind of where my mind goes when I think of the friends that we have
Sure.
around us.
A great parallelism, without a doubt.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
That's the word. I was just about to say it.
SAT.
Yeah. What did I forget what I said. SAT words are great. What about you? Did I take the words right out of your mouth? Who sings that?
I actually have no idea.
What?
0. Nope.
My dad had
Nothing.
that CD.
Who is it?
Meatloaf.
Oh, it's Meatloaf. Okay.
Meatloaf. Yeah,
Wow.
what a name for a band.
Yes. Is that from Bad Out of Hell? Is that where that is?
I
That
think so.
yeah. Okay.
We knew every word to every song on that album because my dad had that. I think I've mentioned he had Offspring. Who knows? But yeah, Meatloaf, that was like a freaking family anthem CD. We
That's
just
great.
belted out in the car. It's kind of, I don't know if that's weird. Who knows? Your turn.
Check.
My tangent is over.
Obviously, I see you all, and I know, yes, like I said before, with patient family members, Christ lives within. All those, same things apply. With y'all, it's different, of course, because I know you all so well. If I had to put a headline on this newspaper, what I would say is that I see you all seeking our Lord, therefore I see him. That's probably the best way I could explain that for sure. When you're around people who want to have a relationship with Jesus, seek him in their day-to-day life, who teach him and his word to their children, who, profess the faith, profess the creed, live that sacramental life. It's fairly easy to see Christ in you all. But I also have seen y'all all struggle in various ways, some very intense events, some very, more long-winded trials, some in these day-to-day tough moments. And so, okay, sort of side tangent here. You ever read in school? You probably did. You ever read the book Where the Red Fern Grows?
I cried.
Yeah, of course.
I was younger when I read it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so Old Yeller sucks compared to Where the Red Fern Grows. Red Fern Grows is
Couldn't
so
agree
good.
with you more. Dude,
It's such
I
Old
did a
Yeller's
book report on
Old
this.
Yeller is boring. Where the Red Fern Grows is dope. Awesome book.
What a book.
It is. It's a great
If you
book.
haven't read it, or maybe you have some kids coming up to that age, check it out.
Yes.
Just get a tissue box next to you.
I really hope I want them to they made a movie about it in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, I think I watched
it.
it.
Not good. It was boring.
Mm-mm.
I really want them to make it a modern movie about it, it'd be so good.
Wow,
I see it.
Could have bet $1 million when you said, "Did you ever read?" My mind was like, "I'll just tell you, no, I didn't read."
No, Where the Red Fern Grows. Anyways, so for those of you who don't know, it's about a boy and he gets his 2 coonhounds, and they, are really, really talented and win competitions. And of course, like every dog book, it ends and tragedy happens. You can imagine what it is. And I'll leave it at that. But I first read that book when I was probably 8 or 9. I mean, I was young. And a scene from the book, a dialogue from that book has always stuck with me my entire life. I mean, since then. It was between the boy, I think his name was Billy, if I'm correct, if I could be wrong.
That rings a bell.
Yeah, I think so. And his grandfather. And he's talking about how he wants to save up money and get these dogs and and hunt and live his dream and everything. And his grandfather tells him there's this, maybe 2 to 4 page dialogue of them talking. And his grandfather essentially tells him, you have to do the work and meet God halfway. You have to meet God halfway in this life to get what God wants to give you, whether that's good or bad. And he basically tells him, like, you want to earn the money to get these dogs. Okay, well, guess what? Like, God's going to give you the will to do it, the perseverance to do it, the desire to do it, you know, the strength to do it when you're tired. Um, you can't just expect it to happen or him to just gift these things, to you. You're going to have to meet him halfway. And that just really like made a lot of sense to me, 8, 9-year-old Alex. And I've come back to that a lot in life because I just think it's extremely true personally. I think you have to meet God halfway. Um, so now to make the full circle, I feel like I see you all meet God halfway in the day to day
Hmm.
life a lot of the time. Um, and I just think that's important and beautiful and um, kind of what it's all about in a way. Now, I do want to be clear that's not like an earning salvation thing or works based salvation thing. That's just you know I don't know. It just makes sense to me. You have to. You can't sit on your couch and expect everything just to happen for you. God is not going to just make things appear in front of your face. You have to meet God halfway. You have to be talking to Him and praying and cultivating that spiritual life for your life, to happen. You have to cooperate with His will and with His grace for you. But I see my friends, see you guys do that, and that is how I see Christ in y'all a lot of ways, seeing His will, act out for y'all and your families.
Well, thank you, my friend. I agree. I know you're not just speaking to me. I agree. Definitely agree. Our good friends are spending some quality time together as we speak. We've had him on our show a couple times. Finally gets to see his wife and kids this weekend. Prayers go out to them. He's doing some military things away from the fam. Prayers go out to them.
All right, this is a very obvious question, but I'd just be curious to hear about your answer. How do you how do you see Christ in our pastor and our priests at the parish? Father Farmer, Father Gabe.
In different ways. Definitely different ways. Father Gabe, ever since he's shown up in our parish. I see Christ in his reverence. I see Christ in his attention to detail in everything that he does and every interaction that he has with a parishioner. One of the most beautiful things I ever saw was like, so for those of you who are not members at our parish, Father Gabe, we certainly have reached out. We've been in touch. We are hoping and praying to get him on the show. He's a brilliant guy and a true blessing to our parish. And one of the most beautiful things I saw was Father Gabe comes off as a very stern, very serious, deep voice, big beard, in good shape, looks like a freaking warrior for Christ. And I left Mass one day and I got to see him interact with the college students that he's with through Auburn Campus Ministry. And he was so smiley and laughing and just cutting up joking. And I was like, there he is. So that was really cool. But I do often revert back to and refer to his reverence and his intentionality when it comes to serving in his vocation as a priest, as a shepherd of his flock. So I appreciate that. And in Monsignor Farmer, oh, I gotta be honest, my mind goes to his relatability, his humanness. Like it's easy. I think it's always been easy my entire life to see priests as this unrelatable person. Man, Monsignor might be like one of the most relatable, friendly, just down to earth priests I've ever been around. He'll tell you exactly where his shortfalls and his shortcomings are. He'll tell you exactly what he struggles with. He'll help you get through your struggles while he helps himself get through his. And we went on a retreat together, just getting to know him, hearing some stories. I could listen to this man go on a tangent, whether it's during homily or sitting at a dinner table. I could listen to him talk for hours. He's just a genuinely good person, and he makes he's don't get me wrong, he's one of the smartest, most reverent men as well, just like Father Gabe is. I'm not taking away from that. But with Monsignor, I just like every time he makes a sarcastic quip from the podium, from the lectern, I see humanity, and it goes back to, we talked about a few weeks back of just Christ's humanity. It's a beautiful reminder of like the shepherds of the flock here on earth are still people. They're still there. They're still there to be friends with you. They're not just there to be, you know, the head of the church.
So church, yeah, the parish, yep. No, they're humans who can and want and need, I think, to have human relationships as well too. And that involves, many different dynamics. Certainly, yeah.
We need to have them over for dinner.
Sure.
Maybe that can be a joint venture for our
That's
families.
right. Lead into the yep.
That's right.
Be great. And I think that was very, very well said, bro. Obviously you see Christ in the sacraments and transubstantiation and Holy Mass, and I mean just the day to day, beautiful priestly aspects of the priesthood, of course. Yeah, I do absolutely admire, and I think we've had multiple priests roll through this parish. Just the reverence and the seriousness with which the liturgy is taken, which I love. Like you said, the realness too, though. The very much like, hey, this is what I have struggled with, or yeah, I am sarcastic, or I am a little too, biting sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I just really appreciate that. It makes you feel like, these people are like, oh yeah, this is like a physical person I can touch and like breathe the same air they're breathing, essentially. Yeah, it just makes things much more real, and you feel like you can walk in the same, we're all fighting the same battle here on Earth, so you can fight in the same battlefield, back to back, swords out. And I think there is temptation sometimes to feel like you're just answering to your priests, and that's not the case.
No, it's
for
not.
sure.
I'm going to throw it back to when we had your buddy Matt on the show, and he elaborated more, but one of the sentences that he said was like he picked a church because that pastor like really made him feel, I think his words were like made him feel good, made it like really felt like the pastor himself was speaking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to be said about that, as far as like feeling welcome and encouraged to be at mass every Sunday,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
in a service every Sunday if you're
Mm-hmm.
Protestant. And so having that kind of priest at your parish has been just like revitalizing.
Absolutely.
As Tess and I jumped back into our faith, we've been so blessed. Like Monsignor's been there for all of it,
Mm-hmm.
but Father Jones, Father Peyton, and now Father Gabe, in my short but growing time of being so bought in my faith and in our church, I'm so happy that all those priests have been so open. Like I would have never in a million years thought that having a priest over for dinner would be a just joyous occasion and fun.
For
time.
sure.
But I just can't wait to do it again. And so invite your priest over for dinner, or tell them you meet him at a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like whatever it is.
For real, y'all won't realize how much fun it is until you do it. It's always been such a good time.
It really is. And, it's a little harder. Yeah, we have kids. I can't wait. I mean, for real, Monsignor was the first non-family member my son ever encountered besides a doctor or a nurse.
Sure. Yeah.
We didn't wait very long to get him in mass. He was baptized the day he was born. Here's something. All right. I kind of want to do like a lightning round. I'm going to shout people in positions in your life and mine. In fact, I can go first, and then once you get the gist of what we're doing, you can shout them back at me.
All right, do it.
And I want you to say, how do you see Christ working through them? But you can only give me one sentence. to answer
Okay.
it
All right. Let's do it.
because it would take us all night. Because like right now, I'm thinking of like I see Christ in my mother and in my father and in all my siblings, and
Sure.
then
Sure.
I see it in my wife every day. I see him in my wife every day, and like we literally could just fill up the rest of our episodes from here until 2030 talking about where we see Christ and the people we love the
Sure.
most.
Of
So
course.
let's try to do it fast.
All right, bro.
Ready?
On it.
I'm not going to hit you with the big ones right away. So let's go with your father.
I see a man who is very intentionally seeking Christ slowly but surely in a very real and beautiful way. And I do believe that our Lord is going to lead to him in a really, really beautiful way.
Pray for it every day.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. We're going samesies or you want
Oh,
to
my
switch it up?
father.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Similar boat, but that slow journey has taken, he's kind of caught the current.
Oh, yeah. I can tell.
I see my
I love it.
dad as someone who like tiptoed and slow played for a little while. And now I can really see his heart catching on fire. And I can see it in his service to others. And I can see it in his encounters with the loved ones around him. And I can see it with his passion to just learn. Like to see him pick up his Magnificat or research this saint or go to the Men of St. Joseph meeting every Wednesday morning. It's just awesome. So, yeah, the Lord's working through the old man for sure. It's really fun.
Picked up on it, bro. I know it. Love it, brother. Love it. All right. We'll do. So for you, be your principal, your boss. How's your
Oh,
boss?
new boss, actually. Yeah, she's awesome. She's been truly awesome since I got to my new position, my new school. And I just see how kind she is and how uh, she has such an attention to detail. She actually does remind me quite a bit of my wife, and she's so prepared and she's so organized, and she makes sure that everything is exactly perfect for those that she takes care of. She's kind of the shepherd of our school. And so that's kind of her job, and I think it's only right that if you're being led by someone admirable and full of virtue, that you should be able to see a little bit of Christ in your boss,
Definitely.
If you don't, then I feel bad for you, but I do certainly see Christ working through her and just the intentionality and the care that she takes for all the people, including me. I've only been there for a few months, but it's been really fun.
Good.
Your
Good.
boss.
I have multiple bosses because I see patients with all the internists there. So what I would say is this. I have a wonderful working relationship with everybody. I see these incredible relationships these doctors have with these patients who they have taken care of for a long time, or some of the newer folks, relationships they're forming. But what I see most of all is healthcare providers stating truth. Like they are not, they're not lying to their patients. They're not, trying to sugarcoat anything. They're not being like mean or brutal, but they are telling their patients the truth in hopes to give them the greatest benefit. And that is something that I appreciate about them all, for sure, definitely. And I also see things that, I've been surprised a few times, like, oh, I wouldn't have expected this out of you. Not that that's an insult from this person. It just, oh wow, like I'm getting to know you. Maybe I've only known you a year, 2 years, but oh, this didn't match the personality I thought I, knew everything about because I'm a silly human who thinks you just can predict everything. But you get surprised and you're like, wow, that was just such a beautiful thing you just did for this patient, whether it was a gesture or words. And so very humbling, definitely.
Give me a story. This might not be along the lines of our game. We can come right back to it. But if you can come up top of your head, quick story, one experience you had where you saw Christ so vividly in someone, totally in an unexpected situation.
Yeah, I definitely got a story there. Um, this may or may not have been someone you know, but
Intrigued.
indeed, I saw a patient. She was there with her husband. Um, and when I see patients at my clinic, the doctor always kind of swoops in at the end, and I let them know what's going on and my plan, and we might tweak a thing or two. And but that's just our protocols essentially. So the patients always see their doctor too when they come in. But on this particular day, the wife was the patient, her husband was with her. I had seen them multiple times before. I know them, and she has some chronic medical issues that they're just never going to go away. It's just the nature of these issues. And she's struggling. She's elderly too, and she was very frank with the fact like she wants to die. She's ready to die. Um and she's she's not actively dying or anything like that. She's here, and no one knows how long she has left except for our Lord, but she's struggling. She's struggling. And it was difficult to see. And the physician who saw them that day, their doctor, but seeing her that day, came in, and I will not go into any specifics because that's not needed. But the words I heard from this physician's mouth, and also the sweet, tender gestures I saw him give her, very much meaningfully from the heart and in true caring for like an elderly patient in the fourth quarter of her life, struggling with the fourth quarter, to run the race and finish the race. Um, I had never seen that side. I I wouldn't have been able to tell you if it existed or not, but I didn't know it did exist. Um, and by far, it's one of the top three most Christ-like moments I've seen in the clinic, for sure, without a doubt. It was just very, very inspiring, the love I saw given to this patient that day, for sure. Because no, we weren't going to fix her at all, but um, listening, being there. Sometimes appointments are just like, come in, talk. Yep. It's like a check-in. You can't fix it. You can't change anything. But it's just kind of a, hey, how are you? And it was really, really touching. So to witness that was wonderful. Yeah, that's what I would say.
That's a fantastic story, and I do happen to know that doctor, and it doesn't surprise me that he has that way about. And for any of, I'm not gonna name drop the guy, but the crazy part is if you met this guy on the street, you'd be like, I get that you're military because he's former military, but you'd be like, bet your bedside manner in the doctor's office might not be the best. I shouldn't say that, but he's rough around the edges. Love him, absolutely love him. But yeah, no surprise after getting to know the man that's the way he handles his business and conducts himself in situations like that.
Absolutely. Yep.
We need to get him on here. That would be
Oh yeah, we are. We
a
will.
really fun time.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Honestly, I'm a little scared.
It's all right.
A little scared. He made quite the scene when I visited y'all's office when I
Oh
was getting
yeah.
my blood pressure and everything, shouting out things that were interesting. Anyway,
Anyway.
no, he didn't do any of that. He wouldn't do that to me ever. So I ask because my mind real quick just went to one man while my wife and I were staying in Montgomery when my son was sick. And I think I've said it, so I'm not going to go too long winded, but my mind went to the guy that was at the front desk of the hotel when I broke down in tears in the lobby, and he did everything he could in his power to discount or just aid us in any way. And I often think about that situation and think how Christ-like that was, and how God's light was shining through a stranger in that moment. So that's why I asked, because it just popped into my mind. So I'm whoever that man is, and I have his name somewhere.
Amen.
Pray for him too.
Christ meeting you in the filth, man, and terrible stuff, and helping you carry the cross.
Yeah,
I mean, for real. Strangers. It's
strangers. Not a stranger though. I'm sorry, but your story did remind me of something. You talked about someone dealing with a chronic illness, a little bit older. We do have a friend of ours at church who is just the sweetest man, and I have not had the privilege of meeting his wife, but his wife is dealing with some things, and together they're dealing with it. And without giving too much detail, pray for Ryan and Alex's friend from church.
absolutely.
He is a caregiver and a support and a good God fearing man, and there for his wife every day. So
He's one of the best. One of
awesome.
the best.
And he just happens to take care of Alex's kiddos with him while they're sitting in church sometimes.
Oh, yeah. He's some serious
He's a
backup.
saint. He really is.
He's also one of the fittest dudes I know in his 70s by far. Absolutely. Very inspirational.
Yeah.
Regard.
Old Pittsburgh guy. He's tough as steel.
Boom.
That's right. We love you, bud.
Yep. How do you see Christ in your twin brother, bro?
Oh, nice little drop there. That's easy. Like, he's just so genuine, man. He's a teddy bear. We're so similar in so many ways, and I think we're also so different in very many ways too. And that we've kind of always had a good time in like realizing these similarities and differences. But he's just the most genuine person. He cares so much. He pours his heart out for everyone around him. He always has. He has helped me. He has helped me and Tess. He has helped everyone in our family through some of the toughest times, and um, he's always there for people, and that's a gift. So yeah, I obviously pray for him all the time, and he prays for us. He's the godfather to my son. Just there's so many ways I see Christ in him. So I'll still call him a loser to his face though. The next time I see him, because he listens to every episode, I'm gonna have to do something really mean because I spoke well of him.
Ooh, I'll leave that between you guys.
Okay, you have
check.
What about your sisters?
All right, lightning round. Well, you all have heard about Julie, of course. The right now, I mean, it's obvious. It's the way she has suffered. She has suffered. She has carried her cross. It's not done yet. She's scheduled for surgery on October 14th. So we have that final reversal and fix everything up again. Prayers. It goes well. But she had a scope today. Everything's ready. Everything looks good. So we're thrilled to see that. But yeah, just in the carrying of the cross, obvious. My youngest sister, folks, I don't know how much I've spoken about. Her name is Kate, but Kate is in vet school right now. She's doing her final year, her didactic at Mizzou, up at University of Missouri. And she's going to be doctor. I just can't do it. Won't call her. Won't do it.
You're going to have
Of course I will. I'm very proud of her, actually. She has worked extremely hard. It's all she's ever wanted to do her entire life. Never wanted to be anything else. Kate and I don't talk to her as much as I should. We're also both extremely busy. I have always felt like I see our Lord and Kate in Kate, without a doubt, is one of the top 3 least judgmental people I know. She is never going to cast that first stone. She'll always meet you where you are. And she, kind of like you said about your brother, she cares very deeply about the people in her life. And she is not gonna wrong them. Yeah, that's my landing answer right there. Yeah.
I like it.
Proud of you, Kate. Proud of you both.
I'm proud of you too, Kate. I'm Ryan, by the way. Proud of you though.
Boom.
Mizzou.
Yep.
Their colors are not my favorite. They're also the new, like sort of the new kids on the block in the SEC. I know they're not the newest additions,
Dude,
but
can you believe them and A&M? They came in 2012.
that's
That's
wild.
how long it's been
It's
now.
wild. I was actually reflecting
13 years.
sad news and a total tangent, but as a Tiger fan, our beloved Bruce Pearl retired today.
Ugh.
As we're filming this, it's the day he retired, and yeah, he kept saying like for the past 11 years. I'm like, man, he's been here that long. It's like things were way different 11 years ago
Yeah, they
around
were.
this town for sure. Okay, I'll just finish out my siblings. Older brother, the way he leads his family. I don't know many men who can stay home. His wife is an exceptionally hard worker, and my sister-in-law, she's great. She's a fantastic mom, and they're the cutest little boy. My nephew's just a precious little gift. But my brother, while his wife finished school and then began her career as an anesthetist, stayed home as a stay-at-home dad for I think a little more than a year. And I don't know many men that can do that. It's for real. Like my brother's a little bit of a superhero for doing that. But the bond that he was able to establish with his son is so fun to see. So
It's awesome.
really, really sweet. My sister is just like the mother wolf. She is as fierce as they come. She will protect her own. She loves fiercely. She's also just such a joy to be around and a fun time. And I think those are all Christ-like attributes too. So
All right.
yeah. But yeah, you don't mess with anybody in my sister's circle. She'll get you. She'll get you. I don't know why I did that. It sounded appropriate though.
It did. For it. Falcon, eagle.
She's not gonna
like
like it. Yeah.
I'll leave that between you and her.
Yeah. Your mom.
That's it. Say lastly.
This one hits you in the feels. It has to. It's your mom.
My mother loves us all as Christ loves his church. My mother will meet me wherever I am, and she will love me. And there are no qualms, questions, conditions to that. And I know that. I also know no one has had, will pray for me as much, or at least as more than she has for my entire life. That will never change. Yes, unconditional. Very easy.
Man, I'm not going to lie to you. My mom's going to be a little disappointed, but I'm not quite sure I could have said how I see Christ in my mom any better than you just did about yours. So ditto. Love you, Mom. I'm everything Alex just said. I say it to you as well. Just, man, that was well said. Very well said.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
I got one more, just random because it popped into my head.
Hit me.
Pick one random person from church that you see Christ in.
Easy. Okay. Where we sit, just like probably where you sit, you've got the same like handful of people around you most of the time, you know? I'm going for two because I can, huh? But sweet Mr. Jerry and Miss Laura, they sit, you know, probably sometimes it's right behind us, sometimes it's 2 or 3 rows behind us, maybe 5, maybe it's next to us, depending on when we get there. But they have just formed a wonderful bond with our family. They check in on us every single week, want to make sure everybody's good, love our children, and it's just lovely. Just Christ in the community and the intentional checking in and caring. It's wonderful. They, we've never seen them anywhere except for church. And there's some beauty in that for sure. But they're just lovely, lovely, obviously good-hearted people, and they check in on us every single week, and I appreciate that. And then also, our boy Charlie, our
Mhm.
uh St. Michael's Lane group, Charlie and his wife, and they have, I think, okay, it's 4 or 5
Oh, yeah,
boys. I
my
think it's
mind went to
5. Yeah,
5.
5. It's 5. Yes, 5 boys. A lot of energy there. A lot of moving parts.
5 boys.
Yes,
God bless y'all.
yes, I know it. But they
Praise God.
praise God. You always worry with your kids if someone has a bad mass, essentially, like, you know, screaming, the flopping around, banging on stuff, oh, what's everybody thinking? But he right away kind of gravitated towards us and was like, hey, man, he's so chill and so just, girl, doing a good job. It does get easier. Keep it up. You're
That
doing
means
the
a
right
lot
thing.
coming
It
from
does.
him.
It means a lot. I mean, 100%. Just those words, those little words of affirmation and encouragement. Like, I feel like they're coming directly from Christ. Like, yes, keep coming. You're here. And obviously nothing is ever going to stop me from coming. But to hear that from someone who's done it and is there seeing it and who has to like even kind of deal with it too, because he's right there by us, but it's not bothering him. Don't let it bother me. And I just really appreciate you, Charlie. All right, I cheated. I had 2, but who do you got?
All right, I'll probably take 2. You did it. I'll take 2. First, I'm going to go Coach Semo. Just for the pure fact that, like, how happy he is to be in church, how happy he is to, like, go clean up after mass and, do his thing in the sacristy
You
and
see it in
things
every
like.
step he takes, man.
He's
Absolutely, yeah.
so happy to be there every Sunday and every day he's there. So definitely just quick shout out, Coach. For those of you who don't know the man, he is a first ballot Hall of Fame baseball coach in the state of Alabama. I couldn't even tell you how many state titles he's won. He is a one of a kind human being, and he's on fire for Christ. It's just an awesome dude. The other man, I couldn't tell you his name. He sits behind us. We sit over on the St. Joseph side of church, and Alex and them sit on the Mary side. But this man, he has a daughter with special needs, and he is in there every single Sunday, and he waits until most of the foot traffic and the line has gone down for the Eucharist, and he marches up there proudly to receive the Eucharist and to take care of his daughter and to keep her in church. And I need to introduce myself. I'm not always great about doing that, but I have often prayed for him and for his daughter and for his strength and his fortitude, because it's very evident in the way that he carries himself and leads his family and leads as a father, and the example that he sets for young fathers in our church. I hope he knows the impact that it has. So if you do find it in your heart to pray for him and his daughter and the rest of their family, please do that. And my homework will be to introduce myself to him the next time I see him.
That's your challenge off the bat.
That's
Boom.
my challenge for myself this week. But
Love
I
it.
see Christ in him every time I see him at mass, and every time I see his daughter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I see them because they come out to our right, and always it just lights a little something for me for sure.
Mhm.
I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
Like we said, guys, this is an episode that could go on forever. However, I am supposed to get up and exercise in the morning.
Mm,
You know how that goes. If it's past 10 o'clock when I lay my head on a pillow, I'm pretty quick to talk myself out of it. So,
I understand the fight. Yes, sir.
but yeah, we have been going for 25 weeks. You believe that? Almost a half a year.
That's wild. I can believe 25 weeks, but then you say half a year, and I'm like, nah, no, that's crazy.
Right? Next week's episode will be 26 weeks, half a year.
Wow. I guess we'll just have to keep going.
I suppose.
Crap.
This would be a decent time to mention We'll probably take just a slight break for like Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas.
We'll definitely do that, folks. Yeah, New Year's, the whole deal.
We'll see if we can bank a few episodes and at least some on breaks. We might just have to, stop being friends for a week and then reconvene.
That's right.
St. Michael's Lent's coming to an end. That's going strong.
It is.
Challenges. Don't forget, because we've been horrible about it. Challenges. So here I am again. I don't know who went last and who went first. So I'm just going to let you go first so Tess doesn't get upset with me. Come on.
Hurry up. Start prodding me a little bit. I just want to know what bird is in your heart. That's which bird is speaking.
My wife calls me a birder just because I like hawks and eagles and stuff.
That's great.
Here I am making like crow noise. I don't know.
I have an app on my phone that you can put up and it listens to birds and it tells you what it is. It's called the Merlin Bird app, you guys. It's from the Cornell Ornithology Lab. It's pretty neat. Not gonna lie. Who's the real nerd here now? Just embarrassing myself for the pod. You are welcome. Ryan hates me. Don't care. Ending it on that piece.
I can't wait to tell my wife about this because now I'm not the birder. I just can't be. It's got to be Alex.
I'm gonna put it on your phone. It's free.
It's free.
Of course it is. Dude, you're sitting in the backyard and you're just like, hold it up and like, burr, 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 and just shows you what they are. You're like, oh, it's just pretty neat, I have to say. Anyways.
Challenges. Tangent.
St. Therese of Lisieux's feast day is coming up. Today's day 2 of her novena. Pray the novena to St. Therese. You can make up 2 days and then keep it going. Pray it.
That was a quick reminder that I didn't bring my rosary. I have a Therese medal rosary and it's not here. We messed up. You done messed up, AA Ron.
AA Ron. Oh, so good.
We're slacking, dude. All right. Find someone in your life, relative, family, friend, stranger, don't care, and tell them that you see Christ in them and how. Share it with them.
That's a really good challenge. It's much better than mine.
It would make their day, I'm sure. And in a weird way, we just did it. Even though this episode won't come out right away.
True.
I feel like I've already accomplished it. So, hack. My schedule stays pretty busy, so I just, let myself off the hook with this one. But not Alex's. I do have some more homework. Thank you, Alex.
Ron.
Yeah.
Anytime. Happy to add something to your plate. Sorry.
Guys, you know the drill. You like the show? Share it. Follow us. Subscribe. Share some episodes. Share some clips. Like our posts. Whatever you got to do. We're here and we're excited and just loving the time together and serving our Lord in this capacity. It's really fun. So we're praying for you. We're praying for your families. Please pray for ours as well. And we'll see you later.
Thank you all for tuning in. Truly, we appreciate it and looking forward to many more. Love you guys. Thank you.
Ready for your cold shower?
All right.
Is it weird though that I don't know about your house, but my shower, because Exodus started so early before, the water difference is just night and day. Even my cold showers now are it takes me 5 seconds.
Still a little late when I first get in, but then I'm like, okay,
I'm not surprised.
I know. I've heard that, yeah. Saints are their own.